Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Angry and Ornery Show. It's nice to be back after our summer hiatus, and where everybody took little mini vacations, I believe, including myself. So much needed fun in the sun. But now we're back. This is near the end of August. This is episode 10. And without further ado, let's get our friend and co-host, Mr. Lionheart. Come on out, please. Look at him. He may have practiced. Wow, he didn't fall. It's amazing. How you doing?
I'm Ducky. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, thank you. I failed to mention at the top of each show, I always tell people how they can find us. And if you want to come to our studio, then log into Second Life and give a message out to Zoltan Mint. That's me. And I will get you to the studio, and you can experience a live taping, a virtual live taping. Also, the stream goes out as we tape every other Wednesday, unless we're on hiatus, on Hitbox. And you'll see that information below us here in post-production. And then finally, after we edit it all up, we throw it up on our YouTube channel. That's the Angry and Ornery channel on youtube.com, where you can enjoy it in all of its splendor. Speaking of splendor, how was your summer vacation?
It was okay. I was at rehab.
Oh, did it work?
Yes. Oh no, I didn't go for treatment for myself. See, what I do is I smuggle liquor and booze in, and you sell it to the inmates, and you can make a whole shitload of money.
Oh, wow. Wow. Nice way to start the show after our hiatus. Why don't we sit down and have some fun?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I have. We're going to get right into it. I have two TV shows to talk about that I actually was able to watch during this little vacation, and a mention about another show. So, would you like me to go first?
You can go first, sir.
Okay, thank you. Well, so my darling daughter talked me into watching a show that I otherwise would have been uninterested in. But I actually watched it the first couple of episodes and got hooked right away. And that's a show on the CW, which throws up all types of red flags immediately, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And the show's called The 100. Didn't know anything about it. I guess I don't really pay too much attention to the CW these days. I mean, you have your Flash and Supernatural and a few other
You
shows.
want me to Flash?
No. But anyways, so we got the first season on DVD, and we kind of binge watched it really quickly. And I gotta say, that is pretty good. I mean, it's engaging. It's interesting and fun, and it has elements in it of classic science fiction, and it also has a couple of new things. But it really, the biggest feel is that it's a bunch of teenagers, and it's very much like the Hunger Games type of situation. But hey, IMDb gave it a 7.9, which is pretty high for a CW show. So what the premise is, it's set like 97 years after a nuclear war has destroyed our civilization, and there's a spaceship that's housing the leftover people, the people that survived, the survivors, and they've been up there for a long time, and they're not sure if Earth is habitable now or not. So they send out a ship with 100 juvenile delinquents. These are supposed to be teenagers, but the actors, of course, look much older. They're in their 20s or whatever, and most of them are hot. But anyways, they land on Earth, and now they've got Earth is okay, except that there are mutants and weird things going on, and odd animals, and a deer with two heads, and so forth. And so now you got Lord of the Flies, kind of, because now it's a struggle with these delinquents as the people are trying to decide, should there be a government, who's going to run what, who's not going to. But what is cool near the end of the first season, and they're already they already aired the second season, I believe, is that they're they call them grounders, they're Earth people that have lived through the Holocaust, and they're real primitive, and they're kind of like the bad guys. But
Oh,
when
New Yorkers.
yeah, basically, and when you start learning about them more and more, you realize that they have another enemy that's even worse than them, called the Mountain Men. And so I mean, there's all of this going on, and then meanwhile, up in on this space station where all the adults still are, they're running out of food and water and oxygen, and they're slowly dying, and they've got to get answers from these kids right away because they got to get down to Earth right away, and some of them do, and some of them don't, and I don't know. It's actually pretty involved, and the acting is good, the sets are really good, and I really can't find anything that's horribly wrong with it. I would like to say that was predictable, but honestly, it really isn't. I mean, there was a couple of things that actually fooled me, and that's for a TV show. That takes a lot. And I don't know if you ran out of the big things to binge watch, then grab a hold of the 100 and watch it. I think you'll be surprised that it's as good as it is. Now, I did mention the hotties that are in it, and indeed there is at least 3 or 4 young ladies. Eliza Taylor, Paige Turco, and the prettiest of them all is this girl named Marie. I can't even pronounce this. I believe it must be Greek, but it's Avgeropoulos. Somebody can. Anyway, she plays Octavia on the show. But anyways, a really pretty cast, and they get down and dirty sometimes, if you know what I mean. So there's that too, typical CW teenager sex thing going on. But anyways. Overall, good story. On a scale of 1 to 5, probably going to give it a good solid 3. And that's not bad. That's probably 3.2 if you want to get technical about it. Have you seen it? Do you know anything about it?
No. And
Oh.
no. And no.
You will be shocked that it is actually much better than you think it is. I really do think so.
I have no time to watch anything
Aha,
else
but yet
right
you
now.
think I have time to watch your crap.
My stuff isn't crap.
Oh, okay. Your turn.
You're watching something on the CW.
Yeah, let's hear your crap. Go ahead, just say your crap.
Crap. There, I said it.
All right.
Okay. So I saw Terminator Genesis, the new Terminator flick that just recently came out. And as Zoltan will let you know, number one, please do not yell. I am not a fan of the Terminator franchise. I am not a fan of time travel movies. Now, having said that, Terminator Genesis is something a little different. They did an intelligent reboot of the series. And they did it almost by copying off of the Star Trek reboot. So you've got a lot of familiar faces. Well, let me rephrase that. You've got a lot of familiar characters with new faces. You've got Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back as one of the early T-800 model Terminators. You've got the very, very lovely Emilia Clarke, who Zoltan will know is from Game of Thrones. She's playing Sarah Connor. You've got Jason Clarke playing John Connor, and you've got Jay Courtney playing Kyle Reese. Those are your big characters. Those are the characters you know from the Terminator franchise. Basically, the Linda Hamilton character and stuff like that from the first film. They do the whole time travel thing starting off in the future, where it is John Connor originally sending back the Kyle Reese character to save his mother from the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator. But when he goes back in time, the timeline has changed and everything is different. And she's not who she was supposed to be. It's not like the Linda Hamilton character of the original film. It's almost like she's the Linda Hamilton character of the second Terminator film, even more revved up. She's very strong and very militant and very intelligent.
And she's Khaleesi.
Yes, and she is hot. And you find out that something happened in the timeline, and she was actually raised by a Terminator, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, since she was 8 years old. And they've completely turned the whole storylines on its ears. And what's really cool is they take it from the 80s and they originally start in the far future, come back to the 80s, and then they time travel again to modern day. So that way they can bring the whole series into the present without having to change a lot. And what's really cool is they've changed the whole dynamic of the show, and Judgment Day never happened. It's going to, but it's just in a different form now. So it's really, really good. I liked it. The time travel worked for me for once. It was intelligent the way they explained the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger is an old robot, and that it's human skin that's on his body, and it ages. The acting was good. The villain was cool. It blew me away the fact that I liked it. Now, a lot of people say it killed the franchise, or we're probably not going to get any more. That's unfortunate. If they would have continued with this storyline, I really liked it. Also, J.K. Simmons pops up for a little while in a very interesting role. So you got a lot of great actors in it, and like I said, the storyline is good. I'm going to give it like a 3, maybe 3.5.
Where would you place it in the franchise?
I liked it better than anything else in the franchise, because I didn't
Really?
like Terminator 1, 2, 3 was a piece of garbage, and 4 was a piece of garbage. But I'm going to rank it number 1 in the series because it's really good. It's really intelligent. But this was a big concern when it came out. The trailer ruins the film for you because there's a big twist and it's in the trailer. And I remember when that came out, I was like, "There's got to be a bigger twist."
Are you referring to the? Are you referring to the old Arnold fighting the new Arnold?
Nope, that's at the beginning, and that's done beautiful. That's some of the best FX work I've seen in a long time.
Did look good.
That's a little cliff note at the beginning. No, it's about who the villains are and everything, and it's outlined in the trailer, and it really kind of gives it away a little big like in the film that if I didn't know that was going to happen, it would have blown me away. But I had seen it in the trailer, but I recommend it. I suggest when you're able to get a chance, go see it, or
I will.
Theater like I did.
It should be coming out around Christmas, right, on DVD?
Yeah, it should be streaming fairly soon. So I would strongly urge you to go see it. It's good. It's good. What you got?
Well, first of all, I just want to welcome Tendrick and Trixie to our audience. They are friends of mine on another grid, and they were kind enough to befriend me and come to our studio to see our show. So I'm giving them a shout out. Hi, guys.
Hello.
All right. What do I have? I have my second TV show, and oddly enough, I think I promoted the show heavily to Tendrick and Trixie, but I'm going to talk about it here for the first time. I watched the first season of True Detective, and I'm waiting very, very much for the second season to come out now, which I'll also binge watch. But anyways, so my review on True Detective. This show is amazing. It's just absolutely amazing on many, many levels. First of all, of course, everybody remembers the old pulp magazines that came out called True Detective. And those were really hot in the 50s and 60s, and people collected those. You can even find those at like antique shops now, and they sell them in rare magazine shops and all. You've seen the covers and all, right, Lionheart?
Yes.
Well, the down and dirty stories in those were always, some of them were really good, some of them were pretty crappy. But so knowing that, I went in thinking it was going to be similar to that, very detective noir. And the first season is not. I understand the second season is with Colin Farrell and Rachel McAdams. But this first season stars Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. And I got to tell you, I was never a huge fan of either of those two, especially Woody Harrelson, until maybe Zombieland came around. Then he kind of changed his whole image. And McConaughey, I mean, I've always had, it's like, okay, he's cool. He's done some really good stuff, and he's certainly got a lot of nominations for Oscars and Golden Globes and so forth. Well, the ones that he won for True Detective are so incredibly deserved. This guy is a tour de force. Matthew McConaughey has a whole new respect now from me. I will watch anything this guy's in. I mean, he is crazy good in True Detective. So believable. I've seen him in a dozen movies, but in this film, he just takes on a whole new type of persona that you forget that it's him, the actor, and the story draws you in. It's creepy, it's scary. It's almost Hannibal Lecter-ish, Silence of the Lambs kind of thing. The characters are all flawed, and they're deeply flawed. McConaughey's character, for example, is kind of this armchair philosopher, and he spouts out these bits of wisdom that are brilliant, but it's coming from a guy who is a drunk, a loner, and lives in an apartment with no furniture, and he completely devotes himself to his cases, but to the point of bad health and getting in trouble and getting everybody around him in trouble. But anyways, the story builds and builds and builds, and there's a couple of sequences right in the middle of the series that will blow you away, including the one that I have to mention when the two of them, they're two detectives, by the way, and they're trying to solve this serial killer crime spree that's going on. And they realize to get close to the killer, they have to befriend a biker group. And then that biker group buys drugs from this guy or somebody that knows the guy. And the biker group said that they will, get close to this serial killer if they'll do something for them. And that includes going into the hood and raiding a drug house, a crack house, or a meth lab, or I don't know what it is. It's just a place where drugs are. And so McConaughey agrees, and he goes in with this biker group. And the ensuing fight, the sequence that happens, which is about 15 minutes long, it's one continual shot, no edit, as they're going in and out of houses in the hood, up and down stairs, in and out down alleyways, climbing over fences. There's probably 200-300 extras, and it's all shot with one take. It is just mesmerizing. That alone should win an award, and I think it did, actually. But then, of course, you have the ending, and the ending comes just kind of like you expect it, but it also has so many shocking moments that there's no way you can predict it. So, honestly, I mean, it's not Breaking Bad good, because I still think Breaking Bad's the best show ever made, but I'm going to give it a 5. Lionheart, I'm giving it a 5. On a scale of 1 to 5. I don't give out 5s. It's
No,
mind-numbing. It's mind-numbingly good. It disturbed me. I thought about it for days after I watched it. The intricacies that were involved in making this TV show. I agree with the critics, other critics that have said that you're not watching a TV show, you're watching a movie in 12 parts. Because that's what it feels like. I mean, it's beautifully, beautiful. Even the opening credits are creepy and weird. So I can't recommend it more. Please, people, get the DVD and watch it. And when 2 comes out, get that. I'm sure it's going to be good too, because that actually won some awards as well. So, anyways, True Detective season 1, a 5 out of 5.
Wow. Okay.
Your turn.
Well, maybe I'll have to watch it. Maybe. But not on anything you said, though. Okay. So I'm going to get
Thank
guff
you, Chris.
from...
By the way, Chris is working as our secretary during today's show, trying to find out when all these shows are coming out, released the second, seasons and such. But I just wanted to thank her. But go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to get guff from Zoltan on this because...
You get guff from me all the time.
Yeah, I know, but you always say I do too much horror, but that's my comfort zone. So, little bit of a backstory here before I go into the flick. Everybody knows the 2011 version of The Thing that came out, the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it, the one that was the prequel film to the Kurt Russell, John Carpenter Thing. Have you seen it?
No.
You've never seen the prequel? You should watch it. Anyways, so
Wait,
when the
to
film
what?
came... The Thing.
Oh, yes, I've seen it. Sorry.
Okay, so you saw the prequel film?
Yes.
Okay, so that movie was ruined because for some stupid reason, the producers had hired this great company called Amalgamated Dynamics. And they did all of the creature work, and they were doing it as original what's the word I'm looking for? Effects, practical effects. So, a la people in rubber suits, stuff like that, like the original Thing did. But after production wrapped, the producers decided to put CGI over top of everything and make it look like a, B made for sci-fi Sharknado-esque movie. So
Mm.
this company, ADI, was really upset about it, and they really wanted to show the world what they could do. So they started a Kickstarter program to make a Thing-esque movie. Well, it worked, and they got a lot of funding. So out of that Kickstarter program was born a movie called Harbinger Down. Now, this movie has just come out. It just did its little run at the film festivals, and people went nuts over it.
It completely crowdfunded.
Yes, that's just it. There's only one big star in the film, and that's Lance Henriksen is in it.
You said big star?
Big star. I love Lance Henriksen. He's a great actor.
Okay. He's a good actor, but I don't know.
Yeah, the story is very, Lovecraftian or Thing-esque, and it's about a group of grad students who book passage on a crabbing boat, kind of like how you see on those horrible, Animal Planet shows where it's all the danger and stuff of them doing crabbing. But anyways, they're up in the Arctic, and it's the girl grad student. Her grandfather runs the boat. That's the Lance Henriksen character. While they're crabbing one night, they find this weird blue ice. And they can tell that there's something blinking in it. So they bring it up, and here it's an old Russian spaceship that crashed. And here you start to learn there's this big backstory that the Russians actually did make it to the moon. And basically on board of the ship, though, is a parasite. And it starts infecting the crew, and they're turning into monsters, much like the original Thing. So you kind of get this whole storyline of who's infected, who's not infected, who's going to turn into something. But I have to tell you, when it happens, it's pretty freaking cool because these monsters look pretty neat, and it's a really good flick. It's not as good as John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm going to give it like a 3.5 stars. It's a good watch if you're into that vein of films. What?
Do you think that it is more Lovecraftian, or is it an alien bug hunt?
It's more Lovecraftian because it's more Lovecraftian because this thing is bonding with your DNA and kind of turning you into something that you're not, but you're still. You're still alive. It's not like the Thing where it completely takes you over and you become an alien and you're a monster. That's the bad part about this is that, you get infected and you kind of still know you're you, but you're turning into this horrible thing, and it's just...
Now, explain the release again. Is this going direct to DVD, or has it got movie time?
This is going to be coming out on DVD. It's making the film festivals in small screens right now. It's in limited release. We were lucky enough that we got it out here. I believe that it is going to be, I think, a late September, if not an early October release date is what they're looking for on DVD and Blu-ray.
Unless it does really well at the festivals.
Unless it does well.
Right, then it'll go to movie theaters.
Right. But,
or the science fiction or sci-fi channel will pick it up and run it.
You know what? I would suggest staying away from it if it goes on the sci-fi channel. Don't watch it for free because there is a little bit of gore, there is a little bit of blood and guts, and they'll just cut that down. And it's not a long movie to begin with. It's only 82 minutes. So it's short, but it gets, it packs a lot of punches. So I would highly recommend it if you get a chance to see it, if you liked The Thing, if you're into Lovecraftian horror, definitely catch Harbinger Down. So, like I said, give it about a 3.5. So,
cool.
Over to you, kind sir.
Yeah, I don't have a full TV show here, but I just wanted to mention one thing that has been extremely entertaining, and that is, as you know, I follow America's Got Talent, and they're currently in their, I think it's their 10th season right now, and they're narrowing it down to, I don't know, they're probably down to 25, 30 people now, but one of the contestants that have made it this far is a fellow he goes by the professional regurgitator. I'm not making this up. His real name is Stevie Starr, if indeed that's his real name, and he's from Glasgow, Scotland, and his act includes swallowing things and then regurgitating them back up again. Now, I've known of him for quite some time. He has been in the magic circles, as it is. I've seen him on shows where he's performed this as a magician. And in fact, he is a magician. A lot of people think that he's actually really doing this, but he's just an extremely clever magician. And he actually has some writings, and I think he even has an instructional DVD of other things that he does. But anyways, he's been featured in like Magic Castle and other places that you could see him live that magicians frequent. But they're not really billing him as a magician on AGT. He's like I don't know. He's like a freak act, I guess, like a circus freak act. But I knew he was going to be good. He's really engaging. He's very funny, and he talks to the audience a lot and uses a lot of improv. But his first couple of times on, he like swallowed some coins and then regurgitated the coins back up. And he swallowed, I think, a golf ball and regurgitated that back up. But the most frequent episode, the last show that aired live, he borrowed a ring, a very expensive, like a $500,000 ring from Heidi Klum, one of the judges on the show. And he showed them a lock and a key, a little tiny lock and key. Swallowed the ring, swallowed the lock, swallowed the key. Then he moves his stomach around a little bit and regurgitates up the ring, and the lock is locked onto the ring. Which just absolutely blew me away. As a magician myself and knowing a lot of secrets, that is a stunner. I mean, honestly, would you have any clue at all, Lionheart, how something like that can happen?
Yes.
Tell me.
He has a vestigial twin inside of him, and it's in his belly. There you go.
Like in Arnold Schwarzenegger
yes,
movie.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. What's it?
Quaid, start the reactor.
Right.
No, that's
so
what it is.
he's also been known. He'll give you a small Rubik's cube that you twist up. He takes that and swallows it, rolls it around his belly, regurgitates it up, and it's completely done. So if you watch AGT for any reason, watch it for this guy. He will be in the top 3 for sure, because the audience, they give him standing ovations and the judges love him. So I think he's going to go all the way to at least the top 3. I wouldn't be surprised if this son of a bitch actually wins the contest. Would that not be bizarre?
How does somebody know that they have this talent? I mean, do you just randomly start swallowing shit one day?
His story is that when he was little, he lived in a what is called orphanage, and he had small toys and a little bit of money that he had to hide from the other kids, so he'd swallow it so they couldn't get to it, and then he'd regurgitate it back up so he could buy his meals. I don't think that's true, but it's a very bizarre act, and I think the son of a gun's going to win. It's just really bizarre. So, anyways, that's all I had to say about that. Watch it; it's hysterically funny as well.
I'm
Your
sorry.
turn.
I'm
we have very little
now.
time for you.
Yes.
Sorry, you got.
I will be a quickie.
Okay.
So this past week, a new movie streeted called "What We Do in the Shadows." It is billed as a documentary. It was done by the New Zealand Documentary Board, but it's a comedy. It's about 4 vampires that average age, they're all over 300 years old, that are living in modern New Zealand. And it's it's funny. It's funny as
Peter
hell.
Jackson directed?
No, you know what? It's a God, I can't even pronounce these people's name, but Jamie Clement is the biggest actor in them. He was the villain in Men in Black 3. Been in a couple other things. He's the head vampire almost. He's like a Vlad the Impaler type, but he's Vlastov the Poker because he likes to poke people. But it's just
Mel
it's
Brooks have
really
anything to do with this?
no, but you know what? It was very Mel Brooks-esque. I mean, it was just hilarious from start to finish, watching these vampires live together and just try to. I mean, there's the dandy style one who's like, when you guys kill people, can you please just put newspaper down? And of course, he goes to kill somebody and he accidentally nicks him in the artery, and there's blood spraying all over the place, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't going right." It's really cute. It
Nice.
just came out this past Tuesday on Blu-ray and DVD. It's hard to explain. I give it a 4. I laughed from start to finish, and then I made my mom watch it, and she laughed the whole time. It's really,
Now, just
really
to be clear, this is a movie, not a TV show.
This is a movie. Yeah, it's not a TV show. It's a movie. It's billed, though, as a documentary, and that's the thing I don't understand is it's got the stamp of seal from the documentary board, like it's a real documentary, and it's all done first camera by like cameramen following them around and everything. But it's hilarious. I mean, they make a new vampire, and he's like trying to hit on chicks, and he's a young guy. And he's like, "Yep, you seen Twilight? I'm Twilight. That's me. I'm Twilight." It's funny. It's really cute. I would definitely watch it if you want a good laugh. Catch it, definitely.
Well, I think we recommended a lot of really good stuff tonight.
Yes,
Actually,
we did.
some of it
we always
very
recommend good stuff, though.
well, yeah, but I mean, rather
Well, except for your
obscure.
stuff.
Some obscure stuff here. So if you're getting bored of the summer shows and reruns and all, catch some of this stuff, and I think you guys will be very, very much entertained, as they say.
I hope
All right,
so.
we're going to stand up and say goodbye here.
We are?
Yeah, time is over. Flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming, especially our new guests out there. Feel free to come every other Wednesday, you guys that are new in the studio, and check us out. Who knows? We may ask you to get up here, because I know you're an interesting people. Anyways, catch us on a what is this, Second Life, right? And
Yes.
and we'll be here every other Wednesday. So join secondlife.com, and we'll get you to our studio. You can also watch the live stream on Hitbox as we're taping it every other Wednesday. And I think I've said that like 18 times.
Yes, you have.
And then, of course, we're on YouTube. Hopefully, if I get the file in the next day or two, you'll see it within the next day or two. Florian, by the way, has been really good at getting me this file the night that we tape. Like an hour or two later, I get that file. And that's awesome if you can keep doing that. Not that you're expected to, Florian, but if you do that, I'll have it. Yeah, I have this thing edited and up on YouTube by tomorrow afternoon, in fact. So
We're going to have to start to pay him triple the amount we're currently paying him.
Yeah, you know what that would be, right? 0. You get all the money. Why don't you share your money?
I don't get any money. I'm poor.
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Look at that sexy avatar you have. You're just buying stuff in Second Life.
And I'm in a different suit every single week.
Yeah.
Like you.
Right. I don't have any money. I wear the same suit all the time. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Night.
See you in the movies.